for you, Judge Brian, and that he wasn't able to even communicate to the court what his name is.
So no, they got that wrong. Let's Mr. Bonner, Mr. Bonner, Mr. Bonner. I need you to pay attention, sir. Mr. Bonner. I sent Mr. Bonner. Listen only listen. I sent you a prompt to join the
I'm sorry, BAMACA. It says Vivian
okay.
What's wrong with consumers?
Nerds, what's up, court nerds? How we doing? What's up? I posted a video today for the first time in a while. Please excuse the green screen glitch. Has nothing to do with me. Firefox is having an issue with my streaming service and blah, 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 blah. So whatever. I know you guys have seen TPO like crazy from Manning, but there were also TPO clips out of other courts that were just as good. I got them here. Let's enjoy it. Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's get rolling. This is not a TPO. This kid has got a mouth on him. And Judge Mertz out of Ostiego, okay, he just popped up in my feed, and I got a gift from YouTube today. So let's watch.
But I can tell you that we're behind in that too. There's only one income in this house, and there is a baby due next month as well. There should be a payment made. I just filed my taxes. I received my state taxes. I know you guys do with income withholding on that. So you guys should be getting a payment for my taxes. I was supposed to get 600 and some change, and I only received $238 back. So there should be a decent payment going to you guys out of my taxes.
Mr. Brzezinski, if the court proceeds with contempt proceedings at some point, would this be a first or subsequent finding?
I believe this would be a first finding of contempt, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to set this for a contempt hearing in April. Mr. Sylvester, there's a couple of things that you need to do under the law. And number one is to make your payments, of course.
Okay, well, I have absolutely zero
income. Can you listen to me for a second?
No, I'm listening. You guys tell me this every fucking time.
First of all, don't use that kind of language. You're in a court.
Okay, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
I don't come up there.
I'm going to hold you in contempt. I'm going to issue a bench warrant for you to be arrested. Do you want that to happen?
No, but you guys tell me this every time. I have 92 applications out on fucking Indeed right now. I can't help that I can't
stop. Mr. Sylvester, based on your language, I've already warned you one time. If you use that language again, I will hold you in contempt.
Okay, well, as I was saying, I cannot help that I can't get a job. Okay, so I've had some places call me back, but it doesn't get me anywhere. I've had 2 interviews out of all of my applications. We've got 1 vehicle, one income. My insurance is actually almost expired because I can't pay that either. I don't know how I'm supposed to make payments when I don't have an income. I don't know how you want me to prove it, but I'll prove it.
Are you done?
Okay, I see where this is going.
Where's it going, dude?
Oh, I'm listening. I'm going to get my shit transferred.
All right. You just use more inappropriate language. So I'm going to, based on your conduct here at this hearing today, I'm going to find you in contempt. I'm going to order that you serve 30 days in the Otsego County Jail for contempt in the view of the court. This is a summary proceeding, and that's based on your conduct here in front of the court.
I'll speak to a lawyer.
I'm going to issue a bench warrant for your arrest. You'll serve your 30 days here once you're arrested and brought before the court. I'm also going to set this for a contempt hearing in April. If you aren't employed and you can't make payments, you need to provide proof of that to the front of the court.
You guys don't tell me any way how.
Or bring proof of that to the hearing in April.
Okay, you
Bill,
guys want
that-
proof, but you guys, right here, this is exactly what I'm,
Okay, I'm muting Mr. Sylvester now because I need to be able to make a record and he's talking over me.
because you guys don't give me a chance.
I gave Mr.
What is he laughing
Hey,
at?
babe.
Hey,
Mr.
babe.
Sylvester, I've given you more than an adequate opportunity to talk here today, and at some point you have to listen, and you're not doing that, so I'm muting you because I need to make a record. So if you don't provide that proof to the front of the court at the hearing in April, or bring it or provide it to the court for the hearing in April, then the court will issue or proceed with contempt proceedings, and you could be subject to a contempt penalty of up to 45 additional days. So Mr. Brzezinski, if you can set that for a hearing for contempt in April, I'm going to issue a bench warrant for the court's finding of direct contempt here on the record today, which is a separate issue that you don't need to deal with, Mr. Brzezinski.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I will do that.
Okay. All right, the last.
This was like little boy court today. Oh my God. I've seen this kid, Edward Burns Nicky, before. I always thought it was like he was like 14. Oh my God, he's friend of a court. That kid got 30 days in jail, got to pay all the fines. And he was, if you saw, he hung up the phone. He was like, "Hey, babe," he was telling his babe he's going to get a bench warrant. Dropping F-bombs. What are you going to do? The guy gave him 3 chances, whatever. All right, let's go to the next one. We have I think this was a custody battle. But this was good. This lady just kept digging herself a hole. Let's roll.
Reason why you were not on the Zoom call at 9 o'clock this morning?
I was waiting for the link, ma'am. My apologies.
You were waiting for the link.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't have the link, so it has been forwarded to me. I didn't know it was sent through my email.
Look at the judge. What?
Judge, with the number Mr. Rouser provided to me, I resent the link by the phone, and that's how she was able to get the link and log on.
All right, Mr. Rouse, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right, you may proceed.
So like I've been saying to the court, I am asking for full custody. And that's where we are. Once again, Miss Jessica
I'm
has.
sorry, did I swear you were in yet, Mr. Rouser?
No, you haven't.
I didn't. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give to this court on this issue is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's correct.
Okay. Go ahead. I apologize.
All right. So once again, prior to this filing, I reached out to Miss Davila and said, hey, we need to come to some terms on visitation. She just wasn't cooperative. She didn't want to do anything. So, I had to do what I needed to do in the state of Georgia, was to file legitimization, being that we were never married. So I filed legitimization. I also requested full custody. I'm saying full custody because she's unfit. She's an alcoholic.
Custody.
She's when I served the legitimation, she fired a firearm at the process server.
What?
Cops were called. She was arrested. And here we are.
She pulled out a gun and waved it at the server. Yes, that's what she did. Kidding me?
She also already
Those custody battles be getting crazy. Custodies.
has a child support with her oldest daughter that she pays, that she's behind on, that she told me she was behind on. They took her tax return, and so I pray for her. She's a good person. I mean, we all go through things, but right now, as far as my kids and their development and growing up and being in a stable household, I'm way more stable. She hasn't worked. I don't understand why she hasn't. So here we are.
All right. Attorney Wright, you wish to make an opening statement?
Your Honor, I'll waive an opening statement, but I I guess just when it's time to present evidence, I'll just ask Mr. Rouser as well as my client questions.
Okay, all right, Mr. Rouser, you go ahead and present evidence regarding you wanting to legitimate as well as why you feel that your household is
Definitely Shaquille.
better than Miss Davila. Attorney Wright, is Miss previously you stated about you had no issues with legitimation. Is that still your sentiment? Is Miss Davila still consenting to legitimation, or is that still?
I would ask my client, Ms. Davila, do you have any objection to him being the legitimate father, or do you have any concerns as to whether or not he is in fact the biological father of the children?
I don't have any issues with the legitimation in this proper process.
Okay, then Judge, I think we can agree that the legitimation can be granted by the court if the court is so inclined. We would just only want to be heard as to any additional issues.
Okay, all right, Mr. Rouser, go ahead and give the court evidence. Since you're asking for you're asking for full sole legal and physical custody, Mr. Rouser?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I need evidence. Go ahead.
I mean, the information I just shared with you, you know, she is just unfit. Not only, I mean, as far as her being an alcoholic, she just an alcoholic. I mean, I've seen.
Judge, I'm gonna object and ask.
Well, I would say that Mr. Rouser, I'm going to sustain your objection, Mr. Rouser. I'm going to hold you to the same standard as I would any other licensed and barred attorney in the state of Georgia. However, Mr. Rouser, I caution you is to focus on you as opposed to Mr. Victor. I need you're trying to convince me that you have a better house or environment than she does. I wouldn't focus on her. I would focus on what you bring to the table as opposed to what she doesn't have.
Okay, great. Well, I'm a business owner. Been a business owner since 2000. Successful business owner. I have a total of 8 kids. I was married for 10 years. Great friends with my ex-wife. I have 4 kids with her. I have a kid with my current wife, and I have another kid, and I have 2 with Miss Jessica, and I take care of everybody. Everybody works, but I take care of everybody. Financially, I can take care of.
Why is he gloating for the fact that he reproduced 8 times? I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, he's gloating for the fact that he put 8 kids and that he's taking care of them opposed to someone who doesn't have. I just don't understand. Hats off to taking care of them, but why are you having 8 kids with different baby mamas all the time? Like, I just don't get it.
My kids. I don't have a problem taking care of my kids. As a matter of fact, I've been helping Miss Davila for the last 6 months with her personal stuff. Nothing to do with providing support for my kids. I paid her mortgage, her rent for 4 months. I paid her car note for 3 months. And it just get to a point like, well, if I'm doing all this, well, you know, you're not working. I need to have my kids. Number one, since my kids have been born, I haven't had any stable visitations between me and her, you know. And every time I ask about it, it's something, you know. Obviously, when I don't say obviously, but when we, you know, no longer were a couple, you know, obviously it became an issue, and I just felt like she was using the kids as a pawn against me and did not allow me to view.
She was using them as a funny joke, a pun, or a pawn?
My kids only in her possession, only when I'm with her. Like, I don't want to come to your house to be with my kids, you know. Now, as it relates to, you know, financially, I'm strong. I can take care of my kids. I have a stable.
I need some information. Like, how much do you make? That's you telling you're able to take care of your kids. You have 8 kids. Are they child support orders? I mean, what?
No.
I need information, Mr. Rouse.
I don't have any child support orders with any of my ex-wife or my other kids' mothers. I pay for everything.
And by the way, Judge Yolanda Parker Smith is dubbed Judge older sister. Like mom had a baby at like 19, 20, and she has this older sister that's really cool, and she has her license when you were 10, and she'd take you around and get you ice cream, but she really doesn't hang out with you because she's like a lot older. That's Judge Rolanda Parker Smith. Judge older sister.
I make about $7,000 a month. My mortgage is about $3,000 a month. I have another rental property that brings me income. It's an Airbnb. It's very successful. So income wise, I have the income to support all my kids.
Okay, now I need more about your home environment.
Okay.
Like how many, is it a house, is it an apartment, is it a condo, how many bedrooms? You said you're married, and with your current wife, you already have one kid in the home.
Yes.
You're asking the court to bring in 2 more.
Yes.
I need you to.
I have a 8-bedroom house. I have 8.
He had to count how many 6, 7, 8. I thought he was counting more kids, but he was counting bedrooms.
7,000 square foot home. Excuse me. I have a pool. My wife is awesome. She helps. She provides. She's a stay-at-home mom. I'm in the office now. I work on my real estate. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing for 20 plus years. I'm successful at it. As far as my home is spacious.
Okay. Who would, as far as medical and dental, who would provide? Who would be? Do you have pediatricians lined up for this? I think you have they're 2 and 3.
Yes, 2 and 3.
You have medical insurance for the 2 and 3-year-old?
No, currently Mr. Villa does.
Okay.
But on my Blue Cross Blue Shield, it's not a problem. It ain't a lot. People think it is. It's not a lot.
All right. And who would be, while you're working, who would be taking care of the 2 and 3-year-old?
Until they're able to go to school, and even when they're in school, my wife will be taking care of them.
Okay.
He's balling.
All right. Attorney Wright, do you have any, I'm sorry, Mr. Rouser, do you have any other information you wish to provide to the court regarding your fitness and why you feel like you're in the best, that your environment is better than the children's mother's current environment?
Other than, it's just not stable over there. Every time I am allowed to see my kids by her, they want to come with me, I've told her on several occasions, if defects or, the people came to the house and see the condition that you're living in, it would be a problem. She doesn't know how to handle my kids. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why her oldest is in the same, her oldest kid is with her father. This is my opinion, and you're asking me, so I'm stating my opinion. I just don't think she's not fit to be a mother. And that's what I 100,000,000% believe.
But you do recognize and acknowledge that you have 2 children by this person.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't matter. Six other ones.
You find things out later, we had our kids back to back there, barely a year apart. So, I don't have a problem with kids, raising kids. I love kids. I love family.
Okay.
All my kids' mothers, we're close.
Here we go.
They were all here yesterday. My ex-wife, my current wife, and my daughter's mom, Amelia. Like we family. It takes a village.
It takes a village.
It's not luckily for me, I've been blessed, to be able to help and love and provide for my kids, and not just a customary way, but over and above. And that's how it will continue to be.
How often do you see the 2 and 3-year-old?
Not often enough. Once a month. Because to see my kids, it has to be under her guidance. I have to be in front of them. Like I can't. It's like, you need help. You won't allow me to help you. I can give you money all day. It takes more than money. If I can't come get the kids and you stressing about the kids, how can I help you? if you're keeping them away from me.
All right, Attorney Wright, you have any questions for Mr. Rouser?
Yes, Mr. Rouser, let me sort of get some timelines. I know you said you were married and your first 4 children are from your marriage or your former marriage, correct?
Yes,
And when was that divorce finalized?
2013.
Okay. And looking, that means what? Kendall, Christian, Emily, and Daniel, are those your 4 children born of the marriage?
Correct.
Okay. And their years of birth are 05, 07, 09, and 11. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
Okay. And since you were divorced, none, you don't pay child support for any of those children?
Nope.
No, I take care of them, but no child support order.
Okay. Then since then, you've had, let's see, Amelia and
Yes.
Phoenix, and that is by at least one person that you were not married to, and then one is with your current wife, correct?
Correct.
And you don't pay child support for that child, the one that's with the person that's not your wife?
That's correct. No court order child support. I just
Okay.
support.
Did you file a legitimation for that child?
I sure did. And even in the case of my daughter with my current wife, I filed legitimation before we got married, because at the time we were not married when I had her.
Okay. Did you file for legitimation as soon as these children were born?
That's correct.
Okay. Yet for
Well,
these
one of
two, for
one
these,
of
go ahead,
well,
sir.
one of them I didn't even know about because she kept it from me
Richard.
until the baby was born. So,
Conductor Rich.
Okay.
Amelia,
How long after the child was born did you file for legitimation for that child?
for which one? Amelia?
Or the one that you said you didn't know about until the child was born?
Immediately.
Okay. Yet for these 2 children, it's now been 2 years and 3 years for you to finally file for legitimation.
That's correct.
Okay. Why didn't you file for these children immediately?
Because I thought we was going to work it out, but we didn't.
What do you mean work it out?
Just work it out without having the kids to be legitimized.
Okay, so legitimating your children isn't something you just do immediately to acknowledge that you're the father.
Yeah, I know in the state of Georgia, that's how you do it if you're not married. Correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, how long have you been married to your current wife?
Since August 26th of 2022.
Okay. So these 2 children that are before the court today, they were born before your current marriage.
Yes.
Now, you provided some information on the juvenile court case to the court. Is that case involving any of your other children?
No, just Christian Rouser. Yes.
Okay, Christian. And the alleged victim in the case with Christian Rouser, is that one of the children that's before the court today?
No, it's not.
Okay. But was it also another child, meaning a minor female child?
Yes, it's Jessica DeVilla's other child that's not with us, with her and another gentleman.
Okay. Now, is that alleged to have happened while the children were in your supervision? In your, you were having visitation at the time?
It was never alleged to be in anybody's supervision. We don't know when it happened.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord, sweet Jesus.
We know it happened.
So to be clear, again, this is your son.
Before you start, let me remind all parties that even though we are handling these matters in a Zoom format, it's the court expectation that everyone adhere to courtroom decorum and protocol. Emotional outbursts, expressions, would not be tolerated if we were live in court, and the court won't tolerate it while we're on Zoom either. So I would ask that everyone please keep your composure as much as possible, because this is a formal hearing and we were treated as such. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Attorney Wright.
All right. And since, well, let's go to this. The two children today, Harmony and Cashton, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever paid child support, a formal order of child support for either of these children?
No, I haven't. I've been paying, not a formal order, but I've been paying her support $500 a month. I got receipts for everything.
Okay, and when did you first start paying $500 a month for the, is that $500 for both children or $500 for each child?
For both children.
Okay, and when did you start paying that?
When we basically broke up.
Okay, and when did you break up?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Jessica. It's been a while. She know more than me.
Okay, is it a year or less than a year?
Oh, it's over 2 years.
Okay, so your testimony today is that you broke up a couple years ago, and since you broke up, you've been providing $500 a month in support for these two children.
Or more, yes.
Okay. And
guy's got
how often,
cojones.
on a monthly basis, did you say you see him maybe once a month?
Yes, that's average, once a month, if allowed.
Are you able to bring them to your house for overnight visitation?
Not at all.
Okay. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Is part of
For overnight, no. I bring them to, now I have two houses. So one house I do bring them to, but it wasn't for overnight visitation.
Sorry.
Even though she would allow me to, she said I could, but she still came and got them.
Okay. Now, do these two children, have they intermingled and met your other children?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
They have. You know, when we were still together, they would see them all the time. I mean, you know, all the time.
And they understand themselves to be brothers and sisters.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Now, you, sir, I apologize that I have to ask this, but have you ever been arrested for any felony kind of charge?
No, no felony.
And have you ever had issues with alcohol, drugs, anything of that nature?
No, I have not.
Have you ever had occasion to drink alcohol with my client, as in going out, bars, dinners, whatever, but also drinking?
Yeah, socially, yes.
Okay. So today you are complaining to the court that she is an alcoholic, but you have been drinking with her when you are in her company.
Yeah, but drinking with her, not being an alcoholic. An alcoholic is someone who's excessive compulsive, like she is, and she actually has medical conditions because of her alcoholism.
Okay, but the point is, a person that you know to be or suspect is an alcoholic, you're going out drinking with them.
No, this was before now. Yeah,
okay,
when
this is before you realized this.
No, we were together when I would go out and drink with her.
Okay.
Just like any couple would do, wine.
Okay. And you've been doing this once a month visitation for a couple years. And again, what is it about now that causes you to bring this action? What has changed from what you seem to be saying is the norm of the relationship, the contact, as well as the living conditions of the children?
Well, the limited times I'm able to go to her home is just the condition of her home physically. I've seen her, drinking in public at a park, and I say, "What do you have in that cup?" And this is one of the times that I visited the kids. We would meet at the park, and I'm like, "You drinking? Like, and you gonna take my kids?"
It's got cut off. I'm retrieving the second part of it for us. Let's go to. All right, I'll give you this one. This is a workplace. I posted this on a video that I had before, so if you watched the video, you saw it. But I know a lot of people in the comments that even though they've seen it in videos, they want to watch it on the live anyway. This one is ridiculously good. Here we go.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do swear.
I am working on retrieving that second part, guys. It's tough. If you miss it, it's hard, and then I got to go backtrack and get it. It's when you're recording a lot of clips and putting in the work for yourself. It's tough. I apologize, but I will get part 2. I always retrieve part 2 for you guys.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dyson, please proceed.
I was the athletic director, or I am the athletic director,
Feel better,
and
Heather.
oversaw the department that Wes worked in. And on January 16th of this year, my management team and I determined that we needed to terminate Wesley's employment with us due to behavioral issues that had been addressed. Since the 16th, there has been ongoing terrorizing email, texting, screenshots from other people coming to my personal email, my work email, my front desk email, my admin's email, my owner, my director, my manager, all of us have been getting these messages. They are vulgar, they're offensive, they are sexist, misogynistic. He is being derogatory, degrading, attacking personal character, and it needs to stop. I'm uncomfortable in my workplace. I have been looking for his truck when I go to work, afraid that he may show up and be present on site. And I don't want that fear in my life. I feel like he has way overstepped a boundary after being terminated, and it's been going on, let's see, last Monday, I guess would have been the last contact, and then he was served on Wednesday. So it's been almost 2 months, I guess 6-7 weeks of this ongoing communication, and has not stopped even after my explicit request a few weeks back via email. I have blocked his messages, and he has created new email addresses to continue to harass and terrorize us and my team.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything additional that you want me to consider?
I don't feel safe. I feel this situation needs to be addressed, and he needs to not be permitted within anywhere near me, my workplace, my home, my car. He needs to not contact anyone at my workplace, as I am overseeing that business and I have access and can see all messages. So I do not want any more further communication. He's not admitted at our business as an internal decision, and he just doesn't need to be anywhere near me anymore.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Stockwell, your turn. Please proceed.
This is out of Thurston County, guys. Thurston, Washington State, just so you know.
Okay, I'm just going to read this off the same document that I submitted this morning to you, Your Honor, and try and be as clear as concise as possible and shorten it up. I'd like to begin by stating that I will fully comply with the harassment order that I received earlier or last end of February. I am not and have never been a physical threat to Heather Dyson. I have had no contact or behavior associated with this order since February 27th, 2 days before I was able to read and acknowledge receipt of the order, which was on March 1st. I had been traveling in remote areas of Ecuador and was not able to fully read the PDF attachment that was attached to the email until March 1st. Again, I will fully comply with the order, and I am not a physical threat to Ms. Dyson. I've never in my personal or professional life ever used physical force against anyone. I was in the Washington State Patrol for 27 years and never once used force against anyone because I had the ability to use my verbal skills to avoid such things. I was surprised when I read in Heather's, Miss Dyson's narrative that she thought I was a physical threat to her. Never. I didn't even cross my mind about physically harming her. The electronic communications I sent to her and her employer and my former coworkers does meet the harassment definition provided by the court. They were meant only to bring attention to her failings as my boss and to the failings to the tennis club that she works for. Admittedly, at times I used vulgar language and gestures in the communications, but never threatening language. The vulgar messages I sent were during times when I had been drinking alcoholic beverages, something I don't do in excess, but as is well known, any amount of alcohol lessens the inhibitions for the person consuming it. I would like to apologize to Ms. Dyson for the vulgar messages. And in conclusion, I once again state to the court that I will fully comply with the order. I am not a physical threat to Ms. Dyson and request that this temporary order be canceled after the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dyson, anything further?
I would like to share that despite the maybe blurred lines of where there's a physical threat or not, the language that's been presented is extremely offensive, terrorizing, and harassing. I don't have any regard for the state that Wesley was in when he sent those messages. It's inappropriate and excessive. And his failings messages also exceeded into defamation of character, accusing me and my general manager of having an affair, using vulgar language, saying I had freshly fucked looks on my face, asking if I've had the big P lately. Very offensive language, not in regard to my work performance at all whatsoever. Whether he started that rumor, I don't know, but he has surely taken great pleasure in utilizing.
What big P is he talking about? The P like what his head looks like, or a P between a woman's legs? Comment. Keep them clean. Use other words, alternatives. You will get blocked by our moderators.
Utilizing it over and over again in personal messages to our Google business profile, to me personally via email, to WhatsApp, text. It has been incessant. So even if he did have things that he wished to point out about my work, after a day or two, I would have understood him having those things to note and giving that feedback. This is beyond that. And I would like this to be put into effect for the full year so that I do not have to deal with this level of harassment and terror in my life as he recovers from this termination.
Told you this was a doozy.
Okay, thank you. Very briefly, anything additional, Mr. Stockwell?
Very briefly.
Yes, Your Honor, I did not start the rumor. It was in effect when about the affair with the coworker, and it was occurring. The allegation was that it was occurring at work, so it definitely pertained to her performance working at the club. Avery, our former employee, is the one who informed me about the rumor when I got there. I said I noticed some behavior, and she said, "Yeah, everybody knows that." I did not start the rumor, Your Honor. Again, it never even dawned on me.
I'm not certain it's relevant whether or not a rumor was started by a particular person.
Well, I just want the court to know I did not start the rumor. Okay.
Okay.
And the behavior stopped as soon as I became aware. Actually, 2 days before I became aware of the order, it had stopped. I've run out of material. I pointed out all the flaws that I could in those emails, and I stopped. Yes, there was vulgar language used. Yes, I sent her a couple photos of me on vacation flipping her the bird. I was angry.
He literally said, "Yes, I took pictures of her on vacation flipping her the bird." What did he have? A pina colada in one hand, Hawaiian tropical shirt, Hawaiian tropic on his face, a straw hat, having fun in San Diego. Wish you were here, Heather.
I lost my job, a job that I should probably have, and she shouldn't have, but that's the way it is. So I've moved on, and there will be no further communications with Ms. Dyson about anything, I assure you, and I'm not a threat to her.
I would like to make one more comment, if that's all right.
Yes, I was on vacation and I flipped her the bird. I can't. Stockwell, he's our new evil genius.
Okay, it'll be just a few moments while I fill out my order. I am issuing the order. It is an anti-harassment order. It's going to be for 1 year.
Thanks, Pete. Oh, I think so bad back. I'm sure Grim will send me that in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, this is literally one of the best Discords
Is
in YouTube.
Dyson one of the boxes on the form asks for an address to have Mr. Stockwell stay away? You are allowed to keep that confidential. Would you?
He tells her to stay, tells him to stay away, and Stockwell leaves. He didn't mean right now, Stockwell. Geez.
I'd like to keep that confidential.
Are you able to advise if there is a preferred method? I mean, I don't know if it's, I would like him to know not where not to come, but I also don't want him to have it. So what is the best option?
The difficulty, if he were to show up, there would have to be some way for him to know that it was yours. Realistically, if he's on your front steps, knocking on your door, that would be pretty obvious that he had already figured out what the address was. So would you like to keep it confidential?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jojo. Jojo, I gave you a wrench, Jojo. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe Rich. I think my crazy life was like my first Discord member. I think so. And then Monica came, Jamie came. I think she was the first. Okay. So let's roll to I got a better one. This is a custody. This next one, this is Judge Brian Nichols.
You're looking,
and Judge Brian Nichols, he's been on my stream before. He's very fair. He was the one I was talking about. He has a cowlick. He's the one that didn't know the word for a cowlick, but he said that he had hair sticking up. That's him. And he's dealing with this. This is a custody battle, but the kid is 17. So there's an issue. He's having an issue on whether or not to order it or have the kid make his own decision. And the mother's dead set against it for the kid's sake. And the father's just, whoa. So I'll let it roll.
need to reconnect with your son. So tell me what you're asking and why you think the court should grant your request.
Well, I haven't seen my son in years. There's a couple of reasons for that. I took a couple of losses. My mother passed away, and we was trying to help her fight cancer and stuff like that. And then my grandmother, her mother passed away, took it hard. I was helping her out, and that's like.
Before we get into this case, what's going on with his hair? Does he have the do-rag and he just stuffed dreads up like that? or does he have dreads all across the top and a do-rag? What are we doing here? Mr. Patterson, I would love to know. Join my Discord and tell me what's going on. I'd love to know what's going on. Because it just looks like he took one and just stuffed it like Raggedy Ann and Andy, like that kind, like yarn. I don't get the hairdo going on. It's a hair don't. No.
Like in Southwest Michigan area, Niles Buchanan, Berrien County is where my grandparents are. But my mother had passed away around the same time where I was trying to get parenting time for my son. But because she had cancer, she started deteriorating at a rapid pace. And I wasn't working at the time. I had to get a job, but I couldn't get a job in Michigan because I had got into so many different issues as far as with Macomb County Sheriff's Department. So I had to move out of state I went to Elkhart, Indiana, and started working and helping my brother and my sister to pay for my mom's treatments. But she ended up passing away over at Beaumont Hospital.
Wig, possibly.
I think it was like 2017. Then my grandmother passed away. I kind of took it hard, and because she wanted to see my son, but we had no way to get in contact with her. I had wrote letters to the court. I never got a response. Kind of like with this situation, like I wanted to correct some of my child support, and then they asked me for the files or certain paperwork. They gave me an email at the clerk's office. I sent it off right there in front of them, but they never got any of the paperwork. So I don't have.
So let me ask a couple questions. When's the last time you've seen your son? How many years ago?
It's been since about 2012, 13, 14. I still one thing I got of him is the pictures that we took that day. I took them and we're hanging out with my nephews, and I took a bunch of pictures, and that was the last day I seen him.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, your son is David, and he's going to be 17 in May of this year, right? So he's soon to be 17?
Yeah.
Okay. And you haven't seen him for about 8 or 9 years?
Almost.
Okay. And ma'am, you want your response?
There was a court order back when we went through friend of the court. I want to say it's been since 2011. My son was born 2006. I want to say he was in preschool when his father last saw him. So let's say 4. So let's go back to 2010. Okay, he's almost 17. There's a court order for parenting that's supervised due to Mr. Patterson's mental health. He could have gone through care to have supervised visitation. He chose to disappear. So that's what it's been.
All right. So correct me if I'm wrong. I see that there's an August 1st, 2014 order after hearing before Judge Kathy Viviano. Is that the last? And that says parenting time supervised at Care, Haven, or Hope Concept.
Welcome.
Is that's the current parenting time order?
That's the current.
And so, ma'am, you're saying your son has not seen his dad for 12 years. Like about 12 years, since he was about 5 years old.
Probably, yes. I wouldn't say he was.
So he does. So
that's not true.
And I don't say this to be disrespectful. Well, what's not true about that?
Because in 2014 is the time that they gave me the parenting time. That was the last time that I saw my son.
Okay. Then where did you see him at? Like one time at Care, or where did you see him?
I went and picked him up, and I took him to a friend's house. I was with my nephews. I still got the pictures. He was like 12 or something when I last seen him.
No.
He wasn't. No, he was.
When you say like 12 or something, you have no relationship with your son.
Wasn't no 5 years old. And
well, he couldn't be 12. So in 2015. I mean, so he would have been 8 years. Yeah, he would have been like 8.
So the ladies in the chat are dubbing him Judge Silverfox. Okay, so he's Judge Silverfox, not Judge Salt and Pepper, Judge Silverfox. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
2014, he would have been like 8.
Yeah.
So you claim that she. Okay. Okay. So whether it's 8, 10, or 12, it's been a minimum of 8 years since you've had any contact with your son.
Yes.
And ma'am, does your son know his dad? And I don't say that to be disrespectful. I'm just being blunt.
No.
Does he know his dad?
He's not interested in knowing him at this point, just to be honest, and that's his words. I'm not trying to be funny, but that's what it is. He doesn't.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Pisson, let me ask this question. And again, there's no right or wrong answer to this.
Yeah.
You got a soon to be 17-year-old who probably has strong feelings about whether he wants to connect right now. Do you really want to force the subject, or do you want to wait till he's 18 and give it up to him to decide if you want to rebuild a relationship in a year?
No, I
when he's
mean, I just don't
an adult?
believe I don't believe what she's saying. She's saying that the last time I seen him was when he was in elementary. That's not true. Like I said, I got the pictures, and he definitely don't look like he's in elementary. And the last day, and I'm gonna tell you this, because the last day that I saw my son, he asked me, he said, "Dad, don't let nothing come between us family, Dad." And I was like, "I won't, son." But right after that, I had and I have no mental health issues. The only issue that there was, and I'm gonna correct her on this, I had got into an issue with the Clinton Township Police Department where they pulled a gun to my mother, and I got into a fist fight with them.
So were you well, let me ask this, you were incarcerated for a while, right?
Yeah, I was incarcerated
And from when to when?
You talking about with this issue? This is why I was addressing the mental health issue.
I'm just talking in general. I'm just talking, when were you incarcerated in the last 8 years? From when
The
to
only
when?
place I've been incarcerated was in South Bend, Indiana, for intimidation. And I was practicing with my sword. I actually beat the case as not guilty, but
He was practicing with his sword. Is that what he said? He was practicing with his sword?
they kept me in jail for like a year and a half fighting that case.
Okay. And again, I'm not belaboring that happened, but I'm just saying there's a time that you had no ability to exercise.
Yeah.
But let me say this. What he said, okay, but just a second.
Okay.
So if I take what you say to be the truth, you saw him when he was 7 or 8, and now he's going to be, let's say I take that for granted. You realize that 8 years later, he's grown into a young adult and probably has, during that time, has created his own feelings about stuff. So he might not feel the same he felt in 2014, right?
Well, he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know what's going on. And like I said, I sent a lot of letters off to the front of the court because my mom wanted to see him before she died, and we couldn't get a hold of her.
I know, but so just okay, take a breath. But just as an aside, you can't litigate your case through letters to the court or to the front of the court staff. You have to file motions and bring the action before the court. You can't litigate by sending letters to the circuit court or the front of the court office and say, hey, the court doesn't take unilateral action. The court acts through its orders that get entered after motions or evidentiary hearings. I'm just explaining the process. We can't go backwards. So I have a dad here who wants to know his son. I have a son who's going to be 17 in 2 months. And so here's the issue. If he doesn't want to come, and I'm just having a conversation, I'm not saying what I'm going to do, but how does Ms. Copanecchia, and I'm sorry, man, I've said that wrong, I think, didn't I? I'm sorry. How does she get your son to come visit you? Because you guys can't use self-help. You can't like wrestle him into a car or make him, I mean, he's a 17-year-old. You're not going to make him do a whole lot that he doesn't want to. What if he says, I'm not going to go, and she can't give him to go? What should the court do in that?
Well, that's the reason why I gave my number so I can reach out to him and be able to explain to him about the stuff that happened, so he can have better understanding, because he don't know what happened. She don't know what happened.
Well, let me ask this. Well, but let me ask a question. But your intent isn't to talk to him after years and tell him his mom's this bad person who kept him from seeing you. That's not what you want to talk to him about, right? Because I'm going to tell you what, that's not going to get you anywhere with them. It's not going to get anywhere if you're going to badmouth mom. So you're not planning to do that, right?
When I say when he don't know what happened, I'm talking about with issues with my mom and people dying, and what I'm saying, I had I went into because I took it kind of hard after my mom died. I got this job working for a fleet company, which took me all the way across America. I got the receipts to prove that, but they ended up shorting me. Like, I had an account set up for him, and then I had an account set up for me, and I was making like $10,000 like every 2 months, but then they stiffed me on my payment and left me stuck in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that was kind of one of the jobs I took, and they actually deducted. They were supposed to put direct deposit into my account, and they didn't. They actually subtracted from the card that they had it in, and come to find out they were doing that with a lot of other companies. So I was trying to build, because that was a pretty decent job, I thought, and it just fell through, and then I came back.
So let me ask this, and I am going to ask plaintiff. I mean, if you talk to your son, or he talked to you, I can't say he's going to, but if he talked to you and said, "Dad, I don't want to see you right now," if you had that conversation with him and had that opportunity, would that suffice? If you had an opportunity to talk to him on the phone and see what his feelings are as an almost 17-year-old?
Of course. I understand that he might not feel the same way, but that's because of the time that we've been apart. But to be honest with you, I was a good dad towards him, and me and him have a very close bond. So,
but here's the point. But here's the point I'm making. Your bond then may be very different than a boy who's 8 years older. So, ma'am, do you think your son would be willing to talk to his dad and say, "Listen, Dad, I'm hearing you, but right now I just don't want to see you in person"?
I got to roll this back, because this is a lot of. I took down the number. I had told my son I had confronted the court the last time we met. I said, "I have the number to your father." He says, and I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said, but he says, "I have no interest in contacting him."
I believe her.
And don't make me go see him. I am not interested. And I'd like to just back up a minute. If Mr. Patterson's been working all these years, why does he get an SSI check? If he doesn't have mental health, why is he on SSI? Why is SSI paying his child support? Hold on, I'm talking now, sir. Okay, so there's some mistruths here. He's on SSI for a reason. He has intense psychiatric problems. The reason why he had a court-ordered, a visitation where it was in a center was because of his abusiveness to women, and because my son was traumatized from Mr. Patterson beating his girlfriend at the time. Mr. Patterson has other children. He doesn't take care of any of them, as far as I know, but I can't speak on it because I haven't seen him in 14 years.
Because you don't know. The last time I saw him,
guys, you can't yell at each other during a court hearing. If you guys are
Judge Silver
So guys, let's stop. Well, no, you each get to make your points. You talked and she didn't interrupt you. Guys, guess what? I've done this 25 years. I was a private divorce attorney. Oftentimes people tell me the other one's not telling me the truth. I can listen to you one at a time without you yelling over top of her, or vice versa. She hasn't done that, but it goes both ways. And I can listen to your arguments. And when she's done, you can tell me that's not true, but you don't get to yell over top of her in the middle of my hearing. Okay?
Okay.
Mark.
So go ahead, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just back to your question, Sarah. No, my son's not interested in reaching out to his father, as he is almost 17. So
ma'am, describe your son to me. Is he a competent kid? Is he in sports, not in sports? How would you describe his demeanor? Is he
he's troubled.
Social kid, not social?
He's troubled. He's social, to a point, goes to school, but he's troubled. Just like any child without a father might be in a single parent household. And he's troubled as well because, when him and his father were seeing each other visitation wise and all that, after he saw a scene that the police called me to come pick up my child from Mr. Patterson's apartment when he was living with his girlfriend back when this was back before court. This is what caused the whole court back in 2014, which that went on for years, by the way. So it started at this point and ended in 2014. He made it a point to take me to court for every little thing, and it took forever. I had lawyers, and that's what finally, but that process took.
So let me say this before we get in back and forth of the whole history. The biggest issues here are your son's soon to be 17, and how do you make a 17-year-old do what he doesn't want to do? And is it better to try to force parenting time now or leave it up to him at age 18, whether he wants to get a hold of you? Now, you're before me and I have to make a ruling. So I can do a couple things. I can send it for investigation. I can send it to the family court therapist to meet with your son and make a recommendation as to what he feels is appropriate. The order right now is for supervised, and CARE is no longer in business, just as an aside, guys. It doesn't exist. They closed down. CARE Southeastern Michigan is still there, but their supervised parenting time center no longer exists. So they don't even exist. Right now, I'm not inclined to strong arm today. You're soon to be 17-year-old into seeing you. I'll send it to the therapist to meet with him and see what the court therapist thinks and do a rec. And then after that's done, you guys can come back. But I'm going to encourage you, sir. I don't know, and that's why, ma'am, I made the suggestion that if you could talk to your son about talking to his dad at least once, so he could express to his dad, but you know his demeanor better than I, and if that conversation will be detrimental or beneficial, but at some level, it sounds like Mr. Patterson, if he would talk to him and say, listen, Dad, I don't want to have face to face. You're going to have to wait and try to do this later. Maybe it would help. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys.
I would like to elaborate.
Go ahead, Mr. About what? About what?
Okay, first of all, about her accusations. The reason why we went to court had nothing to do with between me and my girlfriend. The reason why we went to court is because I was with a different girl, and Cece did not like that.
Well, it was guys. It was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago.
She almost.
So let me ask this.
Because
okay, so guys, it was 10 years ago. So Mr. Patterson, all I know is that in 2014, after hearing before a circuit court judge, she ordered supervised parenting time at a supervision center. That's the last standing order. Let me ask this, Mr. Patterson, what do you get SSI for?
I don't get SSI. That's another thing she don't know. She's sitting there talking all this stuff.
Well, what do you get Social Security?
This is why I was trying to explain to you. This is what I was trying to explain to you. The only reason I was on SSI is because I got into a fight with police officers that pulled a gun on my mother, and then I was going to sue Macomb County. But instead of taking me to court directly, the judge said, "Oh, something must be wrong with you," and they sent me to Carroll Center. And when they sent me to Carroll Center, they decided that I was bipolar, and then they put me on these medications, and I left. Now, when I got out of jail, I was sluggish. I was on a bunch of medications. Now, that's when I first left. That was in 2012, because I went down to Texas. I wanted to get off the medications. I was never on medications ever in my life. There ain't no record of it, and the court records prove everything I'm saying. So I went down to Texas, got certified CNC. I came back. I got off of. I was working down there. I was working with a bunch of Mexicans. But I got off of. I tried to get off.
Okay, but let me make a point, Mister. You do understand that this court has no power over the Social Security Administration.
Right.
To get disability, you have to apply for it through the federal government and say you have the inability to work for a year or more. We have no power over Social Security.
No, what I'm saying is, no, it's not. True. When I went to Carroll Center, what they do is when you go to a psychiatric center and they decide that there's something wrong with you, they automatically apply for a Social Security disability for you. You don't even have to apply. So by the time I got out of there, I was only there 2 months. By the time I got out, I was already on Social Security disability. My dad testified to that. Everybody, you can call Carroll Center and they'll testify to that.
So Mr. Patterson, I don't need to know because I used to be a divorce attorney and do disability. I'm fully aware of how disability and Social Security works. I did disability, Social Security appeals, as well as divorce work. So I know how it works. Someone has to. What's that? Say that again.
The ticket to work through Social Security disability. It's called the ticket.
What's that?
It's called the ticket to work.
Hey, can we cut down the chatter?
And I called the Social Security office.
Yes, you can be on disability and make a limited amount of income. If you don't surpass that amount, they'll let you make a certain amount on top of your disability payments. If you exceed it, they discontinue your disability. So
Okay,
yeah, you
wow.
can work as long as you don't exceed the limits, but to get disability, you have to say you have an inability to work at anything full-time that lasts a minimum of 1 year or more. Your
Okay,
disability.
like that.
But I'm not gonna debate that. Listen,
That's what I'm trying
again,
to
the big
say.
issues
I
now.
haven't been on disability. I haven't been on disability
Okay,
since before my
I
mom
got
died.
you. Okay.
The only
All
thing
right,
I got.
so guys, I'm gonna make,
This guy's annoying.
I was getting state aid Medicaid.
all right,
for my
stop.
kids.
I'm talking now. I'm talking. Do you guys both have email addresses on file with the court in which I can send my recommended order? We have emails for everybody? All right. So my recommendation as follows is defendant's motion regarding parenting time is referred to the front of the court custody department as well as family court psychologist, Dr. Ross Beckley, for recommendation. The investigative appointment may be with the custody department may be done conjointly with Dr. Beckley.
I understand. I'm paying my child support. I want to see my son. Man.
New paragraph. Following the recommendation of the front of the court, the matter shall be set for referee hearing. So, and do you guys have phone numbers? Because Dr. Beckley usually contacts you by phone to arrange the appointment.
Yeah, you guys got my number, right? It should be on the paperwork
Do we have
there.
a number? Yeah, and ma'am, do we have a number for you? A good number for you too? Obviously, we called you.
I don't feel comfortable giving it out here.
You don't have to, but my staff called you, right? So that's the number that we called you
They
at?
have the number, yes.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
At one point, these two had relations. Just leave that thought in your head.
All right, so guys, I'm a referee, not a judge. You have 21 days to object to my decision. We're going to email you a copy of this order and the objection procedure. If you have any questions procedurally how to object and process your objections, we can answer those. We can't give legal advice, meaning my staff can't tell you to what write in your motion or objections. If no objections are filed within 21 days, this remains the order of the court. And then once that recommendation is issued, it'll get scheduled for hearing once Dr. Beckley and the custody department issues their recommendation for reinitiating parenting time. If you don't like my rec, you have 21 days to object and ask for a hearing before the judge. Your judge is now the Honorable Terry Lynn Denning. You have a new judge. And at that hearing, Judge Dennings will decide if she agrees with me or wants to do something else, and her decision as the judge is the final say. So right now, I'm just going to refer it to Dr. Beckley. There's no cost to that. He may do a conjoint appointment with my custody investigators, and they'll issue a recommendation thereafter. And Dr. Beckley will meet with your son in the process of that to see what he thinks.
That's not
okay?
anything to do with that.
If you guys, again, don't like what I've recommended, you can object and ask for a hearing before the judge. And we're going to email you that objection procedure with this order. Okay? With that, guys, that's going to conclude this hearing. Everybody have a good day and stay healthy and safe. Okay? Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, there it is, guys. I enjoyed the time with you. I'm going to be back live tomorrow. I'm also going to be dropping a lot of more videos. I got to get that algorithm pumping up. Slowly approaching 4,000 subscribers. I appreciate all the love, guys. Have a good night. Have a safe night. I'll see you tomorrow.